Welcome to ISL-enabled Virtual Lab of CSIR.
Dr. Amitabha Bandyopadhyay came to the rescue of the curious group. He is an expert of bone development and, let him tell us about his journey in the lab himself.
So I asked, my first major question that I asked, how is it possible that the entire cartilage is converted to bone, leaving behind only this tiny part on both the ends, of each segment? Have any of you ever fractured a bone? No, right? You have seen people with bandage, like hard plaster in their hand or leg, right? The fracture will be healed, then the doctor will remove the hard plaster, but you will still not be able to move your hand around the joint. That is because there is a temporary change in cartilage to bone. It's a temporary change. The reason is that the mechanical forces that act on these bones, they were absent because you immobilized it. But nobody knew the molecular basis of it. So if you have elderly grandparents at home, almost 50% of Indian population above the age of 65, they will have a joint pain. They will have difficulty walking. That is a disease called osteoarthritis. So normally at the surface of the bone, you should only see a smooth surface. But in osteoarthritic patients, you will see little spikes coming out. So those are bone forming within the cartilage of people. So as a developmental biologist, we thought that this might be again cartilage to bone formation, which is normal in embryos, but this time it is happening in the adult. So we chased that hypothesis, and because I know how cartilage to bone formation happens, I attacked certain molecules, changed the chemistry a little bit, my biology research that I do, and for whatever reason, I was roped in by my institute to promote all the technology businesses of IIT Kanpur. Okay. So, just to let you know, right now I oversee business of 175 companies. They do different kinds of businesses. I try to understand what they do and try to help them.
While we were all enticed by Dr. Bandyopadhyay's extensive experience, Shri had a question.
Sir, why did you only use rats and other animals like monkeys?
Yeah, so let me tell you, there are two issues here. The primary issue is of rules and regulations. That is a moral, ethical, logistical call that if you don't do that in animals, you will risk humans. Now, obviously, we are human beings, so we're a little biased towards our own species. But within that, there are lots of rules and regulations that all of us are definitely bound to go observe. That suggests that you should try not to harm large animals. That is, while rat, mouse is less emotional involvement there. The other issue is scientific. That is, when you do your experiment, often my kind of work, I will do something in the father or the mother, and I would like to see the effect in the babies. Okay. Now, for monkey, there will be very few babies, only once in a year. That makes it logistically very difficult. But rat, on the other hand, you can get babies every 28 days, actually 21 days. So experimentally, it is much faster to do such manipulations. So, but we also do a lot of work on chicken embryos. Okay, so it is not the kind of eggs that you get in the supermarket. Supermarket eggs are not fertilized. Okay, but the eggs that we use in our laboratory, those are fertilized eggs. So if you keep them in a box that has 38 degrees centigrade, then the embryo will grow in there. We can watch it, and because it is growing in an egg, it is very easy for us to manipulate in many different ways. This is the reason why we use model organisms, because we cannot experiment on humans.
Listening to these details,